2 programs, 2 levels, 1 system, and this month,
Everything starts.
Welcome to 3 over 2 Hoops. I'm Coach Jessica Deliba.
I'm Coach Bob Belf, and we would like to introduce you to the system.
Welcome back to 3 over 2 Hoops. I'm Coach Jessica Deliba.
I'm Coach Bob Belf. We found a spot that we like, and so we decided to come back. We wanted to do an episode, which is going to turn into multiple episodes, on noise. And noise can come in so many different places and so many outside forces, inside forces. It's just something as a coach you have to constantly deal with. But I think with the system, it just gets magnified.
No, definitely. I think the biggest thing is, and even when you start winning, the wins don't quiet it. And then when you lose, the losses amplify it. So it's like, how do you deal with it? What do you do? I think the biggest thing is that you just kind of get better at managing it. I think that's the biggest thing for me.
I felt that when I started this, it was very important to notify all the people that were going to be involved long before we did it, what we were doing. Starting with the athletic director, starting with my assistant coaches, everybody within the program, because the thing that happens that just jumps out all the time is doubt. And as soon as doubt hits somebody, your athletic director comes back and says something like, well, maybe you should just do some of it and not all of it. Or a player or two, or even an assistant coach who starts coaching against what you're trying to do because they don't think they doubt that you know what you're doing. And this level of crazy that we are on, or this bus ride, could be even better than bus, right? It's a plane ride. I think that there is a rhyme to the reason. There is something at the end. It's all about process over result, but people are going to question everything you're doing.
I think even the thing that you didn't add, who I realized I do have to notify at the high school level, were the referees.
No question.
I now, 4 games in, have paused that. I just, you know what? You guys signed up for our game. You're going to eventually find out what we're doing.
True. Yeah, it seems like the opponents know better than the other people. I think it was important, as I look back, it was important to let the people that were close to me that were coming to games know what was going on. Family, spouse, if the case, because they're the ones sitting in the stands that listen to the most ridiculous things they've ever heard. Yeah, the comments.
Yeah, I think I even remember in our first week, there was a moment the other team called a timeout, and I could hear, get back from parents of ours in the stands. And I looked at my team and I said, if any of you guys start listening to what your parents are telling you from the stands, I said, it's not going to end well. I said, you need to be locked in with what we are doing. This is about us. We know what's going on. We know the internal rules. We know everything.
And it will happen in your favor eventually.
Right.
I think you see it in your players where they basically at some point buy in and tell mom and dad, no, this is what we do, or this is how it is, and we rotate on shots. We don't follow our shot, because you hear that one a gazillion times. But the get back, I think from an aggression standpoint too, your kids are playing at a level of intensity and aggressive that your parents have never seen them accomplish. They're playing harder than they've ever played. And I don't know if the parents are always ready for that.
That's true. And then I will also add to your crash the boards comment. There was a college coach that was actually at one of our games, and she went down because some of the OCC girls came to watch our girls play. She went down to the OCC girls because everyone was yelling rotate. She was curious and wanted to know what the heck does that mean, because herself is used to go crash. Why does everybody keep yelling rotate? And it's like, oh, people are starting to notice now.
Well, I love it when the parents told mom and dad to. That's always a crack up for me, because that's when you know they buy in.
Right.
I do think, from a standpoint in high school, one of the challenges is that you'll teach them for 2 hours of practice, and then they go home and have dinner at the kitchen table, and it can be disassembled. Everything you learn can be taken apart at the kitchen table. And I don't know if families do that much anymore, eat at the kitchen table like they used to, but I used to come back to, it was always my dad, my mom, my brother, and I don't see them in uniform. I don't see them playing with us, and I'm trying to coach this kid, and I got the burden of this around us.
I think
go ahead.
where else, not only our parents, because I think it will also start becoming for the other team's parents. I think, like I would say within our group, our parents kind of know what's going on. They understand what, for the most part, their understanding of what we're trying to accomplish. Now, when another opposing team walks into your gym and now you're running the system, I've heard the comments from them as well like they have their own opinion too of what should be happening or shouldn't be happening. Or my favorite is the sportsmanship one. I've already gotten that one from, we talked on the last episode on our high scoring games. It's not like we were doing runouts and just scoring layups, like,
and everybody plays.
Yeah, and it's my bench players that were excited that she finally hit a shot. It's basketball. Like, you can find a different like, go play chess or something if you don't like what we're doing.
That's true. That is very true. I think sometimes the opponents can bring your team together, because all of a sudden, if the opponents are complaining about how you're doing things, or could be players, could be coach, could be fans, that all of a sudden they take a little more pride in what you're doing because it's bothering them. And they're like, oh, okay, it's bugging them. This is good. You'll get a ton of compliments in certain things you're doing from other people that come up. You've already talked about another coach, but people come up and I love the way you sub to keep everybody fresh, or I love the fact that you're using so many people, or, the pace. And high school basketball has gotten to a snail's pace in this state anyway, and it's so hard to watch. And my kids right now, even my own players, when they go back and watch a high school game, they come back, the coach, that was the worst thing I've ever seen. And that's when you know that they're in your corner. They're with you.
No, and I had a parent, I don't know if it was a parent or just a spectator that was at one of our last games, came up, shook my hand, and was like, great game, coach. Like, I think you're going to get both sides. And I think no matter what you do, whether you win, whether you lose, whether you go to Final Four, whether this, I mean, coaching traditional, coaching non-traditional, everyone is always going to have to want to have a say in what you're doing. And I think if you are not a strong person and able to stand your ground and believe in what you do, and you've seen success, and I'm sorry, I have a very different personality, and I'll tell you to your face,
No, but I think you're like, what you're talking about is you're going to get noise no matter what. Mm-hmm. And so now it's a matter of managing that noise as a coach and what you're doing. But the players, when the players can lean on each other and realize that we're all in this boat together and the rest of you don't matter, that noise just falls off. They don't care. And so all of a sudden now this is what we do, and they take pride in it. And then it changes the whole perspective.
That's perfectly said, because at halftime in one of our games, I was saying, hey, I'll let you guys know when we're going to pull off the press. I had the girls look at me like, what do you mean pull off the press? We need to get to 100. Like, you can't pull the press off, coach, until I looked around at them like, oh, you guys are really trying to run this. And it's encouraging. It's like, how can I take that away from them, that they are so excited about it?
And you're a month in, basically, from the time you started practices to now. You're 1 month in.
Yeah.
And you have accomplished a ton in that sense. And it has you got plenty of noise, no question. I think at the college level it changes a little bit as well, because we don't deal with parents as direct as you do at your level. You deal with the athlete more than you deal with the parent. But I have parents that are at every game. I have parents that come in and say stuff, and I think for the most part they were questioning everything we were doing, and they're like, we're not getting any result from it, and now all of a sudden things have turned in our favor, and I see the parents get there. But if your daughter or son is enjoying what they're doing, again, as a parent, you don't have as much trouble, and you all of a sudden be a good defender of the noise as well.
And I think there's a lot of parents that are going to, no matter what, try to find something to come after you about, because I don't know what it is. I don't know what it brings out. Like, at the end, when I tell you, if you could see, I know you're not, of course, able to come to all of my high school games, but the high-fiving, the cheering for everyone, cheering for freshmen, that, like, everyone is so encouraging and positive, and it's something that the system has completely changed. And I don't know how you can still have negative things to say, like when it's coming from our own fan base.
Amazing, but they still you find something to complain about. You're like, really? Yeah, I know. All the things that you embody in high school sports or college sports, and we're there, and they still don't like it. And you're like, I can't help you.
Yeah.
At this point,
I'm still gonna sleep at night.
Sorry, you're having too much fun.
Right.
Yeah, but where also you're hearing noise, the media. There's the one that just jumps at me.
Yes.
But you've had a good media report so far from the local guy.
Yes. Yeah. I think because the topic that you brought up is that high school basketball in Michigan, there are games, to give our viewers an idea. There was a game last year I went to. I think the score finished 22-19 was the final score of the game, and this is a Division I high school team.
And nobody's holding the ball.
We had, in one of our last games, we scored 30 in a quarter. It was 30-16 at the quarter. It's just, it is something that, like, I have people commenting that you might have the fastest pace in Michigan, but it's something new and exciting that I think people are encouraged about, because I was just on the phone with a college coach last night. He's telling me that he's like, do you agree that talent level in Michigan has gone down? Because he's looking to recruit for out of state, because it's just, we go to these high school games as college coaches, and what are we watching? But I mean, we could do a whole episode on that. But
we'd be doing Glidden paint drying seminars right here. I know it's the feedback I have gotten back, social media wise, local newspapers. I mean, one of my players is even nominated for Player of the Week of the Detroit Free Press. So we are getting positive recognition right now. A few more weeks go by, another month. Oh, then you'll be too good. then they'll try to trash you because you're beating people by too many. It's like we need to regulate the score. We need to regulate how bad we beat you. I can't control all of that. Yeah. I can control certain things, but that's it.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but it never ends. The noise never ends. And I just find the insulation is my players. They're the ones that if they're in and they're bought in, then they take parents with them, tend to join us. I remember a young lady I had when I was coaching someplace else, and the guy came up to her, the reporter, and asked her if she liked being taken out all the time. Mm. Like, when the subbing, you're always being taken out. And loved this kid because she said, what are you talking about? I'm always in. She goes, I get to get out.
Response.
Right. I get to come out, get water, and I'm always in. I'm always in. She goes, matter of fact, he puts me in before I'm ready to go back in. But just half full, half empty mentality. And she was totally into it.
So how would you say, Coach Bell, for viewers that maybe have implemented the system or want to implement it, but they might not, I mean, like I said, I have been lucky now to the couple of wins that we have gotten, but what if you have a team that starts out 0-5, 0-6, 0-7?
Well, the temptation right away is to make the major adjustment and throw it in the trash. And I think there's the first thing that's a mistake. I think it's a matter then at that point of adjusting to your personnel and making something work for you. Like, oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, but what about now we're hearing all the negative feedback and all the noise that is now coming with that?
I guess what I'm getting at is like, what does your team do well? Like, I had a team one time that could not make a layup. It was painful, but they could press. And they were so good at pressing, and we would get between 17 and 22 layups a game and miss almost all of them. And but they were creating those shots, and they were creating those opportunities, and we weren't getting those shots if we played conventional. So it was like, okay, we have to hang our hat on what we do well and get better at that. And yes, you work every single day on going off 2 feet, but you got to find something that they're good at and really emphasize that hey, this is us. This is where we're going. That was a high school team that when they finally won a game, you would have thought they won the Super Bowl. They were so excited, and they had lost like 3 straight years. The kids that were seniors were just beside themselves, and we ended up losing in our tournament by a point, and they were crushed. They were crushed. Well, 6 weeks before that, they didn't even want to play. And so it was, they'd rather go to, play powder puff. Powder puff football was more important than practice. So I think once you find that area that they can rally around and become part of. Yeah, okay, 0-5 or 0-7 or 0-2, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard, but you know what? More kids are playing, more kids are improving, more kids are getting involved, and all of a sudden you will improve quicker and get where you need to go.
I will say the 2 games that we did lose to start the season, my kids weren't down, and we talked about that in one of the episodes, that it wasn't, they could feel we had a chance to do something, but it's like it was stuff that we could have controlled. And I think like the biggest thing is that like growth takes time.
There's a learning curve here, without
Yes.
a doubt, and the noise is a major hurdle in that learning curve because you've got to be able to withstand all those things. There was a team at Jackson when he started to run the system. The first game, he set a record in number of points allowed, but when he got to the point where they got it, they were one of the top 2 teams in their division, and they were a factor, and the other teams didn't want to play them. But yeah, he's still in the record book for the wrong reason.
And I think, like, to go back to the noise, I think it's also being a coach, you signed up for this. I chose to coach high school basketball, and I like that age, and I know that's why you don't have many good coaches at the high school level, because they don't want to deal with parents. Do you deal with parents, Coach Belf, at the JUCO level?
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem talking to them or doing stuff, but they don't drive my decisions at all. My players do.
Yeah.
So yes, in that respect, I don't.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not
But
like
they're
I don't go out the side door.
They're also, technically considered adults at
Correct.
18, so
Correct.
that's who you're
It's
dealing
a big deal.
with.
So anything
Yeah.
you do at your level, you have to deal with through the parents.
Right.
If we're going to practice, they need a ride.
Yep.
If we're going to be over break and practice, parents have to be involved.
Right.
Or they're in, Vail. I don't know which. Take your pick. Yeah, it comes in many facets. I think that as we go through this and go into our next episode, we're going to run into some noise issues like, oh, how about that one, Coach? But I think overall, if you're prepared, if you're going into the season with the right mentality, and you have everybody on board and the ducks in a row, if you will, that the noise within what you're trying to accomplish is lessened, and it can go through. If all of a sudden you start to lose, I used to tell my number one assistant, your job is
Wait,
to
I'm
make
not
sure.
your number
No,
one
no,
assistant?
no, no, no. You're doing the system now.
Oh.
But back when I was doing it, make sure I don't quit doing what I'm doing.
Oh.
This make me run the course, because if you have all this doubt that this isn't going to work, I don't have the right people, and then all of a sudden everybody starts hitting at you and you listen to it. No, you got to stay the course. This is what we chose to do. Let's make it work. Find what does work and find something that you can hang your hat on, and then get better at the other stuff. And we're 3-9 right now, but we feel good about ourselves. We've won 2 in a row, and so we're kind of anxious to get to the second semester to see what we can do. It's been a long semester in that regard, but they're in, so I'm pleased with that. Your progress has been much quicker than most, and I can give you many reasons why, but I think the fact that you're ready to go into your league play right now and anxious is also cool. But you're still getting noise.
I am. And
it's not all bad.
But it's
not all bad.
It comes
noise.
with the job, and it is what it is. And
well, let's look at the other noise. Now all of a sudden, the praise, all of a sudden the adulation, all the interest that you got to now. Those kids are never ready for all of a sudden being state rated, all of a sudden being this. If you start accomplishing that, it's a different kind of noise that you now have to deal with.
That's true. I think a lot of coaches would even not call it noise. They would call it distractions.
Still noise.
Yeah.
Because now you get that pumped up ego.
Yeah.
But you have to deal with that too.
No, for sure. And I think both things can be looked at positive and negative. It's more of, in the locker room, I remind my kids, hey, we're here. We know what we're doing. We know what we want to do, what we're trying to accomplish. And I think if you set those terms and things that you want to do at the beginning of the season, you refer back to that, because it's like, hey, this is what you guys wanted to do. So we have all bought in, assistant coaches as well, because that's the last thing you want too. You touched on it. My assistant coach is starting to why are we still doing this? Yeah, they need to be on the same page. If you're going to keep pressing, then you better everybody better be on board.
That's right. Or time to leave the gym.
Yeah. So what can we work have for the next episode for people?
I think our biggest goal right now is to see if we get to our next interview. I think that would be a good one in our next episode. There's just some stuff that's going to happen in the second semester, especially on your end, that's going to drive some interviews.
Make some noise.
Yeah, noise. But I also see as I'm watching certain people try this, there's a couple coaches I know that are attempting this. I talk with a lot, and watching what Grinnell's doing. Grinnell and Greenville played each other about a month, 3 weeks ago. That we haven't touched on that one. That was an interesting game, system versus system. It's just going to be interesting to see where some of this goes. Right now, Grinnell's 7-2, and in the midst of their league schedule right now. So it's going to be interesting where they go. They got a Christmas tournament, or New Year's tournament, I guess is best way to put it, out west. So it'll be interesting to see their scores. So I think right now, as we start evaluating where everybody's going, and try to help some questions, because questions are important. Please let us know. Ask us what you think, how we can help you. You will end up with an entire episode if there's a good question.
Definitely.
Definitely.
So on that note, like, comment, subscribe, and follow us for more. We'll be back with you on the next one.